Hey guys, you're watching BTech. I'm Basil. This is a Nokia 8. This is a OnePlus 5. These are two of the cheapest Snapdragon 835 phones that you can pick up. I'm comparing the two. If you have any questions about them, fire them in the comments section below. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Right, let's get to it. The Nokia 8 costs £549. The OnePlus 5 in this variant, 64 gigabytes of storage and 6 gigabytes of RAM, costs £449. So there is £100 difference in it. However, in a lot of respects, the OnePlus 5, at least on paper, is better. How do they stack up in real life? Let's get to it and start off by talking about the design. You can see the OnePlus 5 has a fingerprint scanner below the screen, as does the Nokia 8. You've got two capacitive buttons either side on both of these devices, and you've got front cameras. The front camera on the Nokia 8 isn't as high resolution at 13 megapixels, but it's an excellent performer and has a nice sharp f2 lens. As for the front camera on the OnePlus 5, it is 16 megapixels and takes a very nice sharp selfie. However, the video doesn't perform quite as well as it does on the Nokia 8 selfie camera. Around the back, you can see two dual camera setups. You've got a telephoto and a wide angle lens on the OnePlus 5. Both full color, none of this monochrome stuff that you see on the Nokia 8, which has one monochrome, one RGB, both 13 megapixels, both f2 lenses, and image stabilization is on the color lens as well. What's also worth noting is you have varying pixel counts on the OnePlus 5. You have a 16 megapixel main camera and a 20 megapixel secondary camera. Now, when it comes to the rest of the ports on these things, down at the base of both, you have a USB Type-C. You've also got a headphone jack on the OnePlus 5, loudspeakers on both. At the top of the Nokia 8 is where you have the headphone jack on that. And putting the phones down side by side, we can take a look at the screens, and it's 5.3 inches on the Nokia 8 versus 5.5 inches on the OnePlus 5. What's also great about the Nokia 8 screen isn't just that it's going to be better for people with smaller hands because it's a bit smaller, it's also significantly sharper. It has over 500 pixels per inch, 554 to be precise, versus around 400 on the OnePlus 5. The OnePlus 5, however, is AMOLED technology, which means it's very sharp, very vibrant, nice, punchy, and poppy. Inside those screens, it is Android 7. Android 7's not the latest version of Android, but the latest widely available version. And while it looks very stock from the offset, Nokia's retained the stock UI, but OnePlus has customized it pretty heavily. So the stock UI is, as you can see, pull up from the bottom for applications, pull down from the top for notifications, two-tier notifications, you can swipe them out of the way, and then you can jump into your settings. There really is very little tinkering that Nokia has done here, which bodes very well for things like software updates. As for OnePlus, you can see you've got the applications at the bottom, which is great. You've pulled down from the top, it seems stock, but in a return for the books, OnePlus has unsurprisingly retained their user interface from all their old devices. So you've got this dock on the left hand side, which works really nicely to give you shortcuts, and indeed you can switch it off. You can see I've also themed it a dark theme, so it's black to take advantage of that AMOLED display, which doesn't use as much power potentially when you're showcasing blacks. And there are a lot more options in the settings. As you can see, jumped into my button configuration, I can actually revert back to stock on-screen buttons or keep the capacitive buttons either side. Now, personally, I like stock Android. I think OnePlus has done a great job because their user interface is stable. I will say this, though, stability generally is better on the OnePlus. The Nokia 8 did bug out with a few applications, likely down to the fact we have a very early build of the Nokia 8 software on here. So you'll have to watch this space for when a software update drops. Been using it for a week, and applications like Netflix, even mainstream ones like that, don't run particularly smoothly. So fingers crossed that gets sorted out soon. Right, when it comes to multimedia, like I said, the camera setups are similar but different. Front cameras are great, but the Nokia 8 is better for video. The Nokia 8 also has something called Ozo Surround or Ozo Sound. It has 3 microphones and it records audio. You can see I've done a comparison between the microphones on the Nokia 8 and the HTC U11. Make sure you wear headphones when you watch that, guys. It sounds really, really cool. I'm coming from behind you, from the left, from the right. It's a sweet, sweet deal. And paired with Nokia's new Bothie feature, where you can take a picture or a video from the front and back simultaneously, it gives an almost 360-degree field of view, and field of view in terms of your audio as well. As for the OnePlus 5, just like with the Nokia 8, it has a blurred background, sharp foreground portrait mode that second lens enables, but it's much more similar to the iPhone. What's nice about the OnePlus 5 camera UI is that out of the box you have a Pro mode, so you can do full manual, shutter speed, etc., whereas that requires a third-party application. On the Nokia 8, it takes really nice sharp pictures by default from that 16 megapixel sensor. If I was to say which camera UI I prefer the camera UI on the OnePlus, but what's nice about the bokeh mode or portrait mode on the Nokia 8 that isn't available on the OnePlus 5 is the fact you can retrospectively edit your pictures afterwards. So for example, this picture was taken in the bokeh portrait mode. I can tap on the pencil, tap on the bokeh editor, and just like with the Huawei P10, I can focus on a different part of the picture, and this works really nicely. The camera UI is a little bit more convoluted, bit harder to get your head around, but once you have, you can make a really decent picture, and you can see picture quality, especially in good lighting, is very nice and sharp. Generally speaking though, again, you can check out my camera comparison to see the exact details. The Nokia 8 has a tendency to underexpose, especially in low light, and as a result is very hampered in low light, particularly when it comes to video. So as it stands, the OnePlus 5 has got the more preferable camera of the two, but watch this space. Software updates on the Nokia 8 may well help it out, just like they have done so to make the OnePlus 5 the excellent snapper that it is today. Other multimedia is going to be excellent across both these devices. The screens look great. Performance is going to be excellent for games. I've been 3D gaming across both of them and playing a lot of 2D games too. Neither of the devices heat up too much, and they both benchmark like champions, and that's not a surprise thanks to the Snapdragon 835s under the hood of these two. In addition to that, you've got 4 gigabytes of RAM on all the variants of the Nokia 8, whereas you've got 6 and 8 gigabytes of RAM. You've got 6 on the 64 gig version, which we've got in soft gold here, or the black one you can pick up with 8 gigabytes of RAM and 128 gigabytes of storage. That said, the OnePlus 5 is not expandable, and the OnePlus 5 in its 128 gig variant is going to take the price higher than the £449 version that we have here. Finally, moving on to battery, and these two have similar kinds of battery lives in day-to-day use. 3090 milliamps on the Nokia 8 versus 3300 milliamps on the OnePlus 5. The OnePlus 5, however, has a slightly bigger screen. Will last you maybe a little bit longer, but it isn't going to be a significant amount. And that brings my comparison to a close. Hopefully you've enjoyed it and found it useful. If you've got any questions, anything I didn't answer with regards to the Nokia 8 or the OnePlus 5, please fire them in the comments section below. Like this video, click that thumbs up button and subscribe to BTech. It's how you're going to stay on top of everything that we do. Thanks for watching.